Good morning and welcome to my live program once again. Uh, my name is Faith, as you all can see. I am the anchor of this program known as Know Your Budget. This program is always powered by Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. And it's usually every Monday, 3 p.m. Nigerian time. But very unfortunately, these 2 weeks I have some issues beyond my control that could not come up at exact time as promised. So that's why I'm doing it the next day. So how are we doing today? Today we're going to be talking about the 30,000 minimum wage in Nigeria. I hope that sounds so interesting. So, um, and you will remember that on the 18th of April 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed in a bill, a 30,000 minimum wage bill that was supposed to be implemented, take it effect immediately. But what baffles so many Nigerians, and even including me myself, I myself, is the fact that some states still yet to implement the minimum wage. It's a kind of for them not to be implementing the minimum wage is a kind of disrespect for the constitution. But what we'll be talking about today basically is the the after the effect of the 30,000 minimum wage. We understand that the increase of products in the market tripled above the 30,000 minimum wage. Let's say, for instance, a 50 kg bag of rice is sold for 32,000, some product 81. But basically, what I'm saying is no 50 kg of rice is sold below 30,000. Now, for a family who have about 3 to 4 kids, including a wife and some including a wife, farmer, a father, and possibly maybe some nannies in the house. Let's assume a family of 5, right? The 3 children are also going to school, and considering our schools in Nigeria, which like the public schools are being spoiled out, so parents are now compelled to put their children in private schools, which the school fees, you can understand with me that school fees is even higher. Some school fees are like 3 times, that if you can gather your minimum wage up to 3 times before you paid your salary, up to 3 times before you pay one child's school fees. As we are talking, we have a guest in the house. um it's a it's not a new face, so we all have been seeing his face here. Chief Benjamin Obe, sir, you are welcome to the live stream.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. So today, basically, we are talking about the 30,000 minimum wage and how effectively have the states governors been complying with the directive from the federal government. We understand that on the 18th of April 2019, Buhari signed a bill, and it was announced by the Minister of Labour back then, Ngige, who come up to say that, okay, it's been signed, the implementation is going to take effect immediately. But we still understand that some states are owing as still yet. Like if I could mention Zamfara, if I could mention Taraba State, are still yet to implement the minimum wage, the new minimum wage salary in Nigeria. What will you say is the hindrance? Will you say that after the minimum wage, the allocation of the federal government that have been supplied to the states still stays stuck, uh, the same as it was? Or will you say that it's just an inability of the state governors who are still unable to pay the minimum wage? Or will you say it's an intentional act for them not to pay the minimum wage, the new minimum wage salary in Nigeria?
Well, thank you. I notice you are avoiding to mention Benue as one of the states that are not complying with minimum wage. But I think
Yes.
that minimum wage is maximum problem because when they did the minimum wage, most things again increase. The price of everything skyrocketed, and then not just that. the government has to even up their own deduction from the salary of people. So it became a problem. There are so many states that don't have the passion for their people. Well, some genuinely because it affected their wage, and then the excess they need to steal to go and take their children to school abroad. It's going to affect them when they pay the minimum wage. That is so painful and so pathetic that some of the teachers that teach their children or teach our children, they are not collecting the minimum wage. And we still believe that it will still be well with us and our children when we are not giving them the right help. Some of their children are almost dropping out of school. They are struggling to survive to ensure that. So they make teaching and some of these jobs not lucrative for people. Teaching is a noble
Yes.
profession that is supposed to be celebrated. So I believe that teachers and civil servants are supposed to enjoy the best of their life because what they do, they add value to the job, the ethics of the job. But unfortunately, within the system, most of them don't have the passion to actually help the people. Minimum wage, that minimum wage is even still small. The average Nigeria, for instance, if somebody is taking a minimum wage of 30,000, what can
Yes.
30,000 do for you in a month? 1,000 daily for a month, and some of them have three, four, five children. What would they eat? Is it gari every day? So when you check the value of that money, it's small compared to. But let us leave that aside. If that money is consistent or is
Yes.
being paid, they can plan with it. So the money is not being paid. So it became very difficult for those of them who are entitled to it to plan. So the money is the consistency of the money that is important. The money is not consistent. They just at will. They are not even, there are states that are not paying. Like my Benue state. Well, in their own situation, it has become like I love what the primary school teachers do. They have stopped going on strike. They are only waiting for God's grace. You know, before you hear that primary school, public primary school, they've gone on strike, and then you see all those children roaming around and so on. But in Benue State, they refuse to go on strike. They say they are not striking
Yes.
again. When they strike, some persons go behind, the governor will give them one or two money, and then they will just mess them up. So they have decided that whatever the situation, let them die in it or live in it. And that's why I said it one time that most people who survive Benue State, like in terms of the civil servants and the teachers and the pensioners, that will survive after development, they need a certificate of survivor. We give them certificate of survival because their surviving alone is a complete miracle. And then let's look at Nigeria as a whole. What is actually happening in Nigeria as a whole? The leadership, they are completely, I think they are morally bankrupt. Let me use the word. They are morally bankrupt. They don't really know what to do again. So we are on a pause. You know, when you are watching a television, there's a point where you can pause a video in short, a video movie. There's a point where you can pause. There's a point again where you can activate to go on. So I believe that Nigerian system, in terms of this minimum wage, we are in a pause. The only place that you see the minimum wage being paid judiciously in court is at the federal level. Yeah, I know some states who have the interests of their people at heart, they pay. The states who pay, I think Kaduna, I don't know much of Kano, of Lagos, Rivers they pay. I think Delta will pay. There are some states that actually pay the minimum wage, but there are some states who complain that the money that they give to them is not enough. Why will it not be enough? It is because they've not been able to actually raise their internally generated revenue. So it's given us that problem. So I believe that the minimum wage, the compliance, according to state, depends on the greediness of the leader controlling this. Thank you.
Okay. We really appreciate you for always tuning in here to give us all of these analysts. analysis. I mean, yes, you just drive my mind into something when you were talking about primary schools and even schools in our country that school fees are higher than what the minimum wage is being paid. Even very unfortunate that some states are still yet to implement. You just drove my mind into something. When I was doing a research on this topic, I saw that some universities in Nigeria here are are collecting about 90, 100, 200, 300,000 per tuition school fees. And it keep bothering me that, oh, these students are children of the same civil servants of our country. Now, your father, your mother is earning 30,000 minimum wage, and you are going to school like Technical University Ibadan, then you are paying a school fees, a semester school fees of 99 100 and 998,500. Now, how much would this parent collect? How many years will the parent now gather to be able to foot this school fees? Now, you see, when people see scenarios like this, and then I talked about, I also talked about Yusuf Matama Sule University, who is collecting 120,000 for non-indigent and is collecting 30 something thousand for indigents. Now, how long will it take a parent to gather the 30,000 naira in a year to be able to pay one school fees for one child? That is why you see the high rate of street um, uh, people begging on the streets, people roaming around without doing anything. You see the same Nigerian people will sit and say Nigerian youths are lazy, we don't want to go to school, you don't want to help yourself. You see the high rate of criminality because people really need to foot their bills. In a family of a Nigerian family that you see about 3 to 4, 5 children. In fact, in some cases you see up to one family having 10 children. Some couple having 10 children or even more. Now, a school fees of one child is about, let's assume it's about 30,000. How many times will you collect this salary to enable you pay about 5 or 4 children's school fees in a year? So now let's talk about this. What do you think is the fate of both the parents of the civil servants that have children that are going to these public schools, these schools that are collecting about 120,000 monthly, and then what also the fate of those students that their parents are civil servants in our country? What about how is their fate in acquiring their educational careers?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that what the government is doing to those people, they are all deliberate. Deliberate in the sense that you hear that
Yeah.
civil servants are corrupt. If they don't go extra mile to make their children have a source of livelihood, how will they sustain the education of their children? Some of them, their children, you can see the amount being quoted, which if you check their salaries for maybe like 2, 3 years, that is what it would take within that range of this thing. You encourage corruption. So civil servant will have to struggle because everybody, no normal person will watch his child go down without fighting. So they must do one or two things to ensure that the children go to school. Secondly, they deliberately do it because if they bring those people up at par with them, you discover that their own children, they bring down your children so that they take their own children up. Number one, they have the facility, the capacity to take the children outside the country or to a private university where they will pay millions upon millions for them for survival. So if they allow the poor people's children that are stable, that knows how to read very well, that can come up with something to come up, they will overshadow their children. Because some of these children from the less privileged, if they go up on education, because of native intelligence in quotes, they are always very smart and then they do very well. So they don't want people to actually compete with their own children. That is one of the reasons. But the major factor and the effect of it is that it builds up corruption. Corruption will be high, both in the civil service and you see a teacher who is lecturing maybe in the university, has 4 or 5 kids, and then they all have to go to university or go to the same school they are teaching. The same school they are teaching, they cannot pay school fees for their own children. It's that bad. So what will they do? They will say handouts. They will tell students for you to pass, bring money. It is that same money
Yes.
they will use to recyclate to
Yes.
to also train their own children. So these things come up because of this deficiency. But I believe that if you have a good educational system, I believe that it will be better within the Nigerian frame that the people will do their job with ease and excitement. For instance, for the primary education, if it is well taken care of and the teachers are being paid, their children will be able to go to that school. Even the teachers will put more effort for proper development of that school because their own children, they are also there. That if there's no motivation, they too will take their own children from that school and take them to another school because one, no teacher will teach his child from primary one, primary two, primary three, primary four till primary six. It's not possible. You may be situated in one class. Will you be following your children like that? Assuming you have 3 or 4 of them there, how will they survive? So they need to entrust the integrity, the knowledge of their children into somebody at a proper hand. They are well trained, they have all the things, the mental facilities to take care of children, to train children. So in that case, they make them perpetually handicapped. Now, for the
Yeah.
civil servants, they also have to struggle to ensure. Let me tell you, these rich men, anything that happens to their children, they come all out. Some of their children, you see, go this thing now, they come all out to even see how they get them off the hook. They do that. So that's why they will also have to do everything humanly possible. So the struggle is so much in Nigeria that everybody is struggling for survival. Everybody is struggling to give the best for his or her children. Why? Because this idea, when issues are brought out, the implementations are all very poor. If it's not very poor, it becomes very unreasonable and then uh, carelessness. So within the government and the system that we are seeing, I believe that let me use the word quashotic. It's very quashotic. Quashok, then put tick on it. And the system, why is it like that? Because our leaders, they don't have the passion. I keep saying, if you don't have a passion for something, as if they are being forced to lead. No, the kind of money they steal, sometimes if you hear some of them, it will be very embarrassing. That is why we need to put the right people into the leadership so that they can do at least give us 70, 80%. These ones are giving us 5%. What we have now, they are giving us 5%. And most times I don't like to run government or people down, but I like to be very objective in my own criticism. I just discovered that the only thing that is lacking is the passion for your people. Everybody is facing a personal race. Everybody is
Yes.
struggling. Now, if the how much is coming to Benue State, for instance? Sorry, I'm using Benue as example. It's not that Benue is the most affected. There are other states too who also have the same problem. I'm using Benue as a case study because I am from Benue State. Benue State, for instance, how much is coming as a subvention? How much is the salary wage? How much goes to the local government? How much is the salary wage of the local government? As soon as the money comes, the next thing the government has a very fantastic criminally in place system that they sweep the money from the local government. Even when they try to give the local government autonomy, the money goes directly. If you like, give the money to all the chairmen. The chairmen, they hang there. They are stooges. They are stooges. If you give them 100 million in a month within the distance, they just give them what to pay salary. And that is why within the local government too, I give you an example again, we have Otukpo local government. Otukpo, Boko, Makodi, Kasinala, and a few other local governments in Benue State. They are supposed to have very good locally internally generated revenue. I was the supervisory councillor for revenue in Otukpo local government, I think between 2002 and 2005. And when I came into the system, I spoke with my chairman, Barrister Godwin Obladen, and I said, look, we need to do a reform. It will not please everybody, but we need to do a reform to get our locally internally generated revenue. What did I do? I took 1 month to study the system that is going on. When they collect money from all the pay points, they bring to the office, DGSA will take its own part, head of department will take its own part, supervisory councillor will take its own part, they pieces the money and then maybe take 10,000 to go and pay. And then when I came in, after that 1 month, I channeled the whole pay point to the bank. So from the pay point, you go to the bank, you give, bring teller. At that point, I think the DGSA was saying, Kai, we don't want to change this thing. This is what has been going on. I say, yes, you cannot continue the same thing and get the same result. Annual revenue, they raised like up to 1 million and they are so excited. Within that year, I was able to raise up to 5, 6 million because I channeled all the pay points to the bank. It was more than that. That is how you bring in a reform. You don't do it with fight because I have the passion. And then the chairman was happy with me. Why? Because what he was seeing and the figures that he's seeing have gone to, we went at a point, he went to 2 digits and he was very excited about it. What am I saying? The issue of minimum wage, you can pay it when you increase your internally generated revenue. You close
Yes.
loopholes. You close it to like 80 to 90%. When you close those loopholes, the money will come in. You have enough money to play with. When they talk about subvention that is coming, assuming subvention is not coming, they will not survive.
Oh,
Some will say you don't have a good internally generated revenue. Yes, because the people that are supposed to pay, those collecting the money, you are not paying them salary. Why would they not collect the money and do what they want to do with it? You're not paying them salaries. They need to collect the money and then remit it when they know what they are supposed to get. So it's quite unfortunate. Okay, go to Zakidia, where we have the greatest producer of yam. I think Zakidian stroke around the Taraba axis. They produce yam a lot. And you see lorries and everything coming to move yam from there to the east, to the south, to the west, and every part of Nigeria. Now, how are you generating the revenue? What is coming from Zakidia? The only way you can do it is that when you go within that axis, you make their roads more efficient. One, they can bring those products to the market with good road, and when they bring it to good road, they can sell it better. When they sell it, they will be happy to go home with good money. They will not just go, somebody will just come buy the whole yam from one place, bring a vehicle, manage it out, and then go. No, the people should be in the position to transport their goods to the market. You centralize the market. When you centralize the market, you discover that all the pay points, the local government will benefit, the state will also benefit. Go to Otukpo, we used to have the second largest rice, the largest rice mill in West Africa, the Otukpo rice mill. It was even larger than the one in Abakaliki. But Abakaliki, how much rice do they produce? You come to Benue, to go to Agatu, go to Apa, every day they have great production of rice. You go and open up a rice mill there. The roads are good. Open up the road. Great rice mill in Apa Agatu. When you have that rice mill in Apa Agatu, you discover that there will be you generate revenue. You come to Makurdi, what do they have? So what they have, you develop it with them. You must put yourself in their shoes to develop it to make it work. So these are the areas that we are faltering. So they are all waiting for the federal government allocation. If they give you 10,000 today, you start complaining that the money is not enough. So I believe that it is the internally generated revenue that needs to be boosted. And for you to boost it, you must be sincere. You must tell yourself the truth. Because finally, when you put thugs that you have used for election in position like that, you don't expect the money to come out. No? The money will enter voicemail. Because you can't talk, they have worked for you, and truly you must pay them or you must compensate them. Even if they are there, they are doing what is not right, they will not have an option. So I believe that when you take good care of your people, one, and these things are well arranged, you get a better shot of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Benjamin Obe.
Thank
I think at this point, he have summarized the whole thing we needed to say. Those who have ear, let them hear. Nigeria is blessed. We have a lot of money. Look, do you know that there is money? One person is in possession of a money that can pay Nigeria one million. Do you believe that? So what is
you. Yes,
30,000 minimum wage that is taking them so much to pay? Then why will it even be 30,000? We are encouraging our Nigerian government increase minimum wage to even 100,000. We have the money. When you look at what one senator is taking home monthly, when you look at one house of rep is taking home monthly, when you look at how much a governor is taking home monthly, my brother, you will agree with me that there's a lot of money in our country. Budgets are being awarded, contracts are being awarded. People sit and eat up the money. Then what talk of civil servants who are laboring in office to ensure that the government keep moving? We encourage Nigerian government do the right thing. Those states that are still yet to implement the minimum wage, do it. It will take you nothing. It will take you nothing. The money is there. Implement the new minimum wage. Pay the people, even the 30,000, they are still not paying. Pay these people their salary. It is what they've worked for. It's what they've labored for. I think at this point, let's read a comment. I think someone have a comment for us here. Okay. Edo a light watch. He said, "Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning to you too, brother. We really appreciate for you to for identifying with us. So please, at this point, we'll come to the end of this program. Please watch me next week by Monday 3 p.m. Nigerian time, and we'll be bringing you another interesting topic on the same channels here and the same time. 3 p.m. Nigerian time is not in the morning. Thank you so much. And to you, Chief Obe, we really appreciate your coming. Thank you so much.